Brian Morrison. I graduated from here, and now I'm back working. After going out and doing my things, coming back again, so I'm back home. I'm kind of counseling high school boys. It's important because he was a student, and all the students, realize, we can be anything, not always thinking of later, going back, it should be both. You from a youngster, a student, a teacher, administrator, alumni, and very chairman. So why not two kids? So I asked them, what can I do? Oh, I gave them one example. I showed them drawing, and then I showed them this, and this is what the idea is. I got the stamp of approval, and that's important to me. That's what I wanted. I didn't want it to offer anything. I want something. And then I was like, oh my gosh, double X now. So I struggled, I had to be out twice, making sure they were right. Make sure they were right. I think from now on it's just going to be one instead of two. But I want to say I love you, and I hope this, this memory for everybody to enjoy. Thank you. On part of the school, thank you for on behalf of the school, thank you for doing this. And he put a lot of effort, making sure he did it right the first time, and wow. He lives in Utah now. And I want to add, when I started my first year, as you have to do something for Ken Norton. I'm like, yes, people are all, yeah, but what? And now is the right time. So I want you, it's not just me and Len, it's just, it's from people from the past. It's their motivation made us do something, and you've earned it. Wow, it's beautiful, right? And creative as well. From a young man to an old man. I hadn't seen it myself either, so very touching. I want to focus on your time as Dean of Students. Steve Orman will explain a little bit more. Steve Orman, please come up. All of us were your favorite. I'm just what a surprise. Thank you. I was thinking, should I write something? Should I write notes? And I just decided to come, make eye contact, and I will speak from the bottom of my heart. Others have also shared. I can't, 1976, I was planning to work at Riverside. I lived in Southern California, and I interviewed there. And it was interesting how the process interviewed for high school counselors, teachers. There was one person from Berkeley and one person from Riverside. And then one person would come to Riverside, so they would interview both at the same time. And I interviewed, and I was hoping for Riverside. Berkeley called me first, and I was like, you interested in flying up and interviewing? And okay. First person I met was Ken Norton. During that time, I had a lot of hair. I had a lot. Ken said, just like me. Not only that, but I showed up in a three-piece suit, pants, vest, tie, jacket. Why? I didn't know. And the two other women who were just dressed casually, you know, they were pregnant, and I was like, I think I was overdressed for them. I don't know. Went through the interview. I flew home, called me, and offered me the job. I discussed it with my wife and went ahead and accepted it. That very day, Riverside called me and offered me a job. If not for Berkeley, I would be in Riverside. So thank you. I was thrilled to come up to Berkeley. I could probably speak on behalf of all the SICs and counselors as well. Ken Norton's leadership, I could go on and give you all the traits about you. But one thing that came up is his confidence, perseverance. Once his mind was set on one thing, he wouldn't stop. He just kept going until he got it. You know, there's few things, accomplishments that he did, but for example, if something's wrong, he got it done. He would fight for the students, the staff, and the best quality of life here. Ken's heart is CSD. I can't explain it. It's just huge. One thing I do want to say. Often when we were working and you were called into the boss's office, first thing that comes to mind is what? Oh gosh, I'm in trouble. No, something happened. I did something wrong. Ken's like, come here. I was like, oh, I knew something. I go in. I just wanted to chat. How are you? You know, getting to know you in person. Not talking about work. He got to know me and who I am. And it was just inspiring. And there was many things I learned from you. And I incorporated that into myself. True mentor. And I often tell you that I called you my dad. I grew up with a hearing family, hearing parents. Communication, you know, they talked, they didn't sign. And I just got so many things, qualities, traits. You made me who I am today. And I want to thank you. And we all want to thank you for all you've given to us. We love you. You encouraged me, you to promote. I didn't want to lose you. I was an important person for my sake, for the preacher. So I kept encouraging him to promote. And you did that. Thank you. Now, thank you, Steve, for your. And I'd like to open it up for those of you who would like to come up and say something about Ken Norton. Who would like to start? Cindy was going to start. I came for you. Yes, I would always come. You're a big part of me. Ken Norton, I'm glad you're here today. When I was a freshman in Berkeley, 1975, you were chosen as Dean of Students. That was my freshman year. The leadership, I wouldn't be here. You taught me so much. Asilomar workshops, the training, on the beach. That's where I started the fun. You taught me to run meetings, recruiting staff, junior NAD conference in 1977. You called Frank to come run that at our school. And all of that stuff, till today, still. You offered student aids to work with elementary. That's where I found my passion to work with kids. After graduation, I knew I had to come back. Those were 4 important years. GAA and FAA. I was a sophomore when you combined those two. We went ahead and combined them. FAA banquet. Invited to back banquet, it was fun. Senior, it was only FAA. It was different. Many of us came back to work here at CSD because of you. You were a senior Gallaudet. You know, can I interview for a counselor on a TTY interview? I retired last March. You were so important. Best decision because you taught me, you know, persistence, making a difference in students' lives. Junior Eagle organization, that's my baby, with Carla Pereira. The banquet, recognizing the students, most improved, outstanding for sports, outstanding leadership, to motivate them to go into high school. The FAA board for so long. And you were a wonderful sponsor all the way through. You were still on the board. If not that, you were a key person. All of us looked up to you. Coming to games, supporting us, still. Getting advice. What should I do, this or that? Still till today, your information is so rich. You got your C letter for your support for CSB Sports, making sure Berkeley, Fremont, the transition went smoothly. The bear hunt was moved. The bird bath was moved. The doors from the Clopping Theater. The bell tower was your thing. And the ring. And I would walk, and I would think of Ken Norton every time I saw it. And I want to thank you for all of your help with the Hall of Fame. It was so important. I can't explain how much, because you were the key person to recognize the past leaders. You know, the dark horse, you know, you need to recognize all these people. I still have the file of everything. You wrote stories. We cherish you as our father. We thank you for your many years from Berkeley and from Fremont. Love you. An idea, if you want to tell a story, go ahead and line up over here to the side. Ken Norton. He set the bar so high that people like me, who was Dean of Students, I chased that bar, and I hoped I came close. You can't get to that bar. But I hope I came as close as I could. That mountain, Mount Everest, I'm right here. Maybe Lynn, could meet there. I don't know, but that's Lynn. But 14 years. He was 15 years. See, I'm gonna make it there. Still not there yet. Often people, compare me, or the past Dean, or the next Dean. Ken Norton would do this. Ken Norton would do that. Okay. So that bar is just so high. What would Ken Norton do? So many things I did in my 14 years, often trying to fill your shoes. Those are big shoes. One thing, about Ken, I knew Ken. I was from Riverside. Lynn's hiding over there. He was from Riverside too. And I heard about you. He did these things. One thing, he was deaf. Back then, Berkeley, everybody was hearing. Everybody was hearing. He was deaf. It was rare. Community would come. It's like, he's deaf. He's an administrator. He moved up. So we tried, and it was successful. So you really helped break ground for all of us, like me. It was easy because of you. It was breaking ground. California, but nationwide at that time, 70s on. How many deaf administrators were? It was you. You are a rare bird. So thank you. This is right on. But maybe nationwide. So thank you. Now I'm challenging Len to work 16 days. But not, I'll pull his ear.
Old school, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hello. I have two stories. I thank you for inviting me as a student aide in Berkeley. I got in trouble because I was a little mischievous in the door, but he believed me and he let me go back to work with elementary. And he just went, oh no, he's worthless, no. He knew I had a future. He said, come on, let's work with the younger kids. Again, I got kicked out again. 3 or 4 times, I think. And I'm still here, so thank you. I was a student aide in Berkeley and also in Fremont. I was a counselor at IC. Then he retired, so thank you for believing in me and making me who I am. Thinking you were trouble, you're not worth it, give us a chance. Always supported, chatted. You can do that, right? He always gave advice, had wonderful advice. And it stuck, thanks to him. Dean of Students in Berkeley, right before we were closing. Everything that was closing, there were some things were very. Your first office was right here, which is now Len's office. That was, his office. Knew everything. The cottages, the furniture, high school activity center, FAA, the store. All of this, worn out, used, broken, just normal wear and tear. Once in this area, in my office, I retired 3 years ago as an SRP. Now it's Noah's office. And I look up, there is still one thing on campus that is still there. Still running. Not furniture, things, nothing. Still running. I will show you. 1 second. This one. It's still running. Every cottage had square, round, they've all worn out, maybe because they've been moved. This has been in that office. It's still, okay, why did I say? Ken Norton's heart. The time, the battery's still running. It has a heart. Just like Ken. So it fits. Still goes out to eat, chatting. I still remembers everything. Still counting the time. It's still running. The car's running, that's running, the clock's still running. This is in Noah's office, it hangs in there, so. But I remember those very well. He said, I remember those very well. And still, I'm surprised. I love you. I always love you. So thank you for working for me. Hello, Ken. Beautiful son, Ken Norton. I came up and I just hit my heart wrong. You know, with his signature up there, I remember reports, you know, him signing and his signature. It's still beautiful. I'm happy to see Ken here, dean and students. Just a father, just my heart. As always. 1956, when I came in, I was learning. I never understood should. Elementary, junior high school, into high school, I met a deaf teacher and I was obsessing. What does it mean? Should. Have to, should. In this expression, and that finally did, should. And I was like, oh. And I actually understood it. At that time, he was teaching English, and I learned so much. Football coach, 1968. I was under him. He was the coach. One time, this other team we were going against, and we won, and then we went Emeryville. Emory killed the other team. Then we struggled, and we were going, and the last we went against Emeryville. And Ken Norton goes, I knew it all along. People kept getting hurt. So it made it easier for Emory. We would almost tempted to one more lick. So we went over there. And in San Francisco, it was pouring. It was muddy. Halftime, they were leading. We went in. Ken Norton balled everybody out. Everybody got fired up, came out, and we won the championship. You know what happened? Football players put shaving cream all over and just accepted. Later we found out he had to drive to his wife, change clothes, and then drive to San Francisco because they were going out. I'll never forget. My senior counselor, when I graduated, luckily I was under him, was wonderful. I arrived, he hired me to work here. I was temporary. I was a student in college goes, why don't you become a counselor? And it just went from there. I accepted the job and all the memories. For example, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, he supported it strong, having a strong program. Training, leadership, making that stronger. Local in-service training. It was brand new. Programming. I'll never forget annual senior sex ed, making sure they were ready for the future. Wow. Such a benefit. During that time, one day, Valentine's Day, we're like, ooh, he would have to know, I'd have to let him know. I wrote a little Valentine, and I sent it, and it was, and then I was relieved after I sent it. The stories, there's so many stories. You know, what happened here? Oh, he could tell you a story about it, you know, if you asked him. It was wonderful. One time, called high school into the activity center, vacuum. That was the topic. It's going, okay. The vacuum? Don't pull the plug, go up, pull it from the wall. When you're vacuuming, it's an art. Everybody's just watching. Happy you came, and we want to thank your family for supporting you so that you could give your time to all of us. Children, staff, we all love you. I know you said that. Ken Norton? You know, we had something in common. We're both Kens. Very cool. And it's like, oh no, Ken Norton's first. Another person, you know, I don't know. You know, he was the first Ken I knew. Anyway, I want to tell you that my wife couldn't be here today. And she wanted to give you a hug. And, you know, we'll see. I met her when I was 13 in the Berkeley School from Oklahoma. Rumors were, you know, Ken Norton, you know, graduated, was in Oklahoma, works with a sports program. I was like, oh, really? Went to football. First week, we came out, practicing, giving orders. Oh, he was strict, better than the previous coach, you know, oh, discipline. I was like, oh, that time my brother, you know, played, my older brother played. I was like, oh, wow, Ken Norton, you know, he'll be coaching. Ooh, oh, you know, kept having championships in Oklahoma. Oh, so we'll, you know, during our time, we're like, oh yes, looking forward to that. And successful with many sports programs, football, basketball, track. You met. My dad passed away when I was 10, I was 13. And I was looking up to him. I thought the world of you. And it continued till today, 61 years later, we've had that connection. Sports, we always talk about sports, gave advice on sports things, detail, so much about sports. I learned. And during that time, my senior year, I was going to go to Gallaudet. Oh, yes, but you have to come back. We'll see. I don't know. Graduated from Gallaudet. I went and worked in San Diego for 3 years. And he was excited. And he offered me to become the football coach. And I was like, no thanks. he was shocked. Why? And I'm like, you know, I had 2 daughters. I wasn't sure, you know. Football was on Saturdays. I wouldn't be home with family. I'm like, no. I decided not to. He was disappointed. I'm like, but we still got along. And you often would drive to my home and join and watch football with me, and we'd chat, and my wife, he'd stay late and we'd chat. And then COVID, and then it was less. A few weeks ago, he showed up at the house again, and we chatted again and watched football. 49ers, we both love the 49ers. I went to Gallaudet 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the Dirty 30 football, and he decided to go with me. And I was like, okay. He's all, yeah, my son will help me. You know, we can do this. Oh, we enjoyed it. It was fun at Gallaudet for Dirty 30. And it was impressive. You know, there were 7 football players who passed away. Who can do push-ups? Coaches in my football field, you know, were trying, you know, 2, 73, you know. Me, and we're like, well, he came up. Yeah. We're like, hey, at 96, he's still doing push-ups and beats 73-year-olds. Strong guy. Thinking positive about his health, no, he's strong, going at it. Very impressed with his life so far. And explains so much history. He just knows so much. You can ask him a question, he knows all this stuff. You go, oh, I remember all this stuff. I remember names. He knew my brother's name better than I did. Give me all that information. Very impressive. And I will continue to chat and hang out. So, I love you. And always talk a lot about family. Grandson, you know, told me all about it. They're here, Chris here. Everyone you would get together with family. And all that. He loves his family. I have 2 messages from him. One from Hank Flopping. He couldn't come. His niece's wedding. And Jake Arcana. I have 2 short Flopping texts he gave me a little bit. We're one of the many deaf administrators who promoted in the past. You did not disappoint him. He made the right choice. Obviously by all those things. Always trying to improve the lives of our students that you work with. Maybe you didn't work, but you made sure all of their lives were better. You know, it's the same. All this talk, it's all the same. California Classic became WSBC, Western State Basketball Classic. CSD used to you were part of that and setting that up. Sports building character in our students. Blessing for students. The impact will continue forever, as people have said today. Everybody's saying Father. Me too. So, I don't know. Now this is from Jake. He wrote a long letter. He's a nerd. I'd rather him talk to you. So I'm going to give you some bullet points, and then he's going to reach out to you tonight or during the week and chat with you. His letter. 37 years at CSD, 40 years altogether of service and education. Special model of commitment, dedication, and devotion. No matter what, you would do it for the students in the school. Always celebrate you as a teacher, a coach, and an administrator. I learned something, but when I was chatting with Jake. Charismatic, I always feel, getting some, you could, whenever something moved, they could learn from your skills. Where were your private meetings? Denny's?
Denny's.
I don't know if I'm supposed to announce that to everybody. Just kidding. Proud he wants to sit with you and chat with you, and you can read his letter, and then you guys can connect. As time goes on, we're going to close. Len Gonzalez, the Dean of Students, will give closing speeches. Thank you again for a beautiful job, Trent. It's one of the best things on campus, don't you all agree? So, great job. Family, we are thrilled that you could all be here with us today and celebrate this afternoon. You deserve it, Ken Norton. Ken, we really appreciate it. 96 years old, we wanted to celebrate with you. I put down a few things, but you've already said everything. So my list has gotten shorter, so I'm having to trying to think of other things. You know what I meant? When I moved here, made such a big decision to move here from Gallaudet in the fall. I came straight here 25 years ago. Can you imagine? I met him. He gave me his CSD 101. This is what you have to do, these things. Orange and black, Eagles, deaf leadership, students, stealth, student-centered organizations. He gave me all of this, and I incorporated all of that. So I wanted to thank you. I am really proud to work here. One thing he gave me at CSD, the ongoing strength, how? Have values, core, beliefs, but important, adaptability. That's why CSD is still strong. The 60s, it was oral through Berkeley. It's changed, 70s, 80s, 90s. If we were stubborn, CSD would have gone downhill. So we made sure that we're able to adapt to the new systems and face the new challenges and get through each one so that we can stay strong. So thank you for your wonderful advice. A special celebration, a little bit behind Clark explaining, about wanting to set up something. And we've talked, 2 or 3 years, and then COVID, so it got pushed off a little bit. So we still think it's right timing to celebrate you. We've got a lot of people to come, and we decided October 18th, and many retired people around, wanted to come for you. One of many things, you deserve it, you deserve it. Everybody was saying, Ken deserves it. You impacted so many lives, changed their thinking about working with deaf students. Deaf can do it, leadership, organizations, all these different things. You kept pushing it. Steve Orman said, your persistence. One thing I noticed from all the retired people who said, your high expectations, you made sure everybody, staff, the students, achieve high expectations every day to become successful after graduation. That's one thing that, CSD is still doing it. CSD is still doing it, right? Everybody's responding yes. There's no change. Student leadership is strong. Giving one example. In the fall, the students got together after 2 years of COVID and finally being under Oscar Shuggs. He graduated here, and leadership, General Gerard, they decided COVID, so Eagle Lead, and it was beautiful. Still strong. Everybody's saying yes. There's people in there, plus many people are watching through our live stream. After it's done, we'll edit it, clean it up, and then send it to you, and we'll send it, to other people who could not come. I have a long list of notes, videotapes that people want to share with you who couldn't, they had other commitments or health reasons, so I will share that with you later. without Clark, Trenton, there's many lists of people who are involved. For example, FAA decorating team put up all the decorations. It's very cozy in this area, very nice. Students, edited or cleaned up the food is from Eagle Cafe. It's business center, how to buy food and sell food. You'll see the students in there. There's food that's being provided. Digital media, the students, are videoing. You see all this? Student center, is run by the student as you envisioned, as you carried it on till today, and it will continue on long. So in closing, celebration is not over. We'd like you all to go in and socialize, get pictures. I know some people want to get pictures with the family in front, and then we'll go inside and eat with the students as the students serve food. And thank you all for coming to the celebration and celebrating Duncan. It's a big surprise, Ken said. I never dreamed of this. We really appreciate this very much. So we'll start with pictures up here. Oh, hold on. You want to make a comment? Before everybody leaves? No, come up. Come on, we have time. Make a quick comment.
Boy, wanted to say one, thank you all. My sister, so, I was in college at UC Berkeley. I was able to join what's called work and study. You see, would pay for my summer life job and worked for siesta. I worked in a department, 7-6, and I would work sometimes finally, I saw inside. It looked at me from another. Really has a son. It was experienced as the students knew our father as as mentioned by as a father figure, but to see it felt like I was in, but in a nice way. So anyway,